Hi all. Hey Roseborough Explorers. Nice to see you. We've got 1 more minute. We're going to wait to go ahead and introduce today's event for that 1 minute. And I am just making sure everybody who was in our waiting room is here. There is a chat box in here. If you have any questions, feel free to write in the chat box. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you should be able to see a few different things that say mute or chat or end the call. The chat box is where you can send it to just myself or just Paul, or you can send it to the whole group if you have a question. But please feel free to go ahead and use that chat box. And we will open up for questions at the end of the session as well. All right, I'm letting more people out of the waiting room and into the main presentation area. But in the meantime, I'll go ahead and get this party started. So welcome explorers, nice to see you. My name is Amanda Vallone and I'm with Roseborough Travel Agency. We celebrated in 2020 our 50th year in business, 50th year in business. And the year of the COVID, in the year that all travel ceased to exist, was one of our most celebratory years ever, right? So we are going and so excited to go into 2021 with the restart of travel. It's so exciting. And one of the ways that you can do this is by going with Rocky Mountaineer. So again, I'm Amanda Vallone from Roseborough Travel Agency, but today we have Paul from Rocky Mountaineer, who's going to tell you about exploring the world, especially North America, with Rocky Mountaineer. And I think that you're going to love his presentation today. So explorers, thank you so much for joining this call. And Paul, take it away.
All right, well, thank you, Amanda. And actually, and I'm going to turn off my video while the presentation's on, but I'm going to turn it on again at the end. But anyway, yes, last year was our 30th year of being in business. So we also didn't get to celebrate it. So 2021 is we have a promotion called 31 is the new 30. So that's how we're celebrating it. So I'm going to start this off and just kind of give you a sort of an overview of Rocky Mountaineer. My name is Paul Corrigan. I'm the business development manager. I'm located in sunny Florida, not too far from where Roseborough Travel is. I'm very impressed with 50 years in business. That's great. Amanda, I know you you weren't there at the beginning. There's no way you could. You're way too young for that. But
you're in Florida. There's the Fountain of Youth here. Didn't you know that?
Oh, that's true. Yes. We've got that out west too. So the great thing is, like, Rocky Mountaineer has been in business for 30 years. Where company is based in, and hopefully, Amanda, can you see like the map right now? Just want to make sure.
Yes, sure can.
Okay, great. So the Rocky Mountaineer started back in 1990, founded by Peter Armstrong, who is our founder and still our current owner. The company is privately owned, privately operated. We're based in Vancouver, Canada. Pretty much mostly Canadians work for our company that operate on these routes in the Canadian route. So in 1990, we started out with one route and only a few trains. And then over the years, we built the business up to have 3 train routes in Canada. And then also we have one in the US, so that's 4 routes. And then we have a total of 65 rolling stock, which is what we call the rail cars. So we have grown tremendously over the years. We're very proud of the expansion, but it's really from the support from past travelers that have been on it, and word of mouth, and of course our travel partners promoting it. So of course, one of the great things about train travel, so we're a train operator, but we do packages in, put together customized packages around our train routes, but we are a train operator. That is really our mission. I'm considered a railroad employee, actually. So what we love to do is really showcase our beautiful trains and treat our clients with 5-star service when they're on board the train, and they can really just experience the nostalgia of traveling by train. But honestly, these are luxury trains. So, and I'll go into a little bit more about that, but a typical day on board Rocky Mountaineer. So we're scenic daylight train travel. So we travel by day, not by night, because if you travel by night, you miss the scenery, right? And we travel in these luxurious coaches that are designed, rail cars that are designed for ample viewing of the magnificent scenery. And the routes that we operate on are specific to the beauty that's outside. But in addition to that, we're all inclusive when you're on board the train. So whether it's a 2-day train route, a 3-day train route, or a 5-day train route, on board the train, all your alcoholic drinks, wine, craft beers, as well as cocktails are all part of the program and are included and served by our hosts. We have gourmet dining, so your meals are included as well, gourmet snacks throughout the day. Typically, a typical day, you will have 2 meals. So you'll have your breakfast and your lunch, and then of course, snacks throughout the day. And what I love is like when we start out the morning, you may start with a mimosas toast, head by our host, followed up by fresh baked scones or fresh brewed coffee, and then you have breakfast served. So there's plenty of eating and drinking throughout the journey. And then throughout the day, you're going to see amazing scenery and wildlife. And our hosts really are the people that bring everything to life. They're experts and knowledgeable of the history and the culture of the passing region. And they'll be pointing out different things along the route and to really just keep you entertained. Of course, they're also very humorous. And then in the evening, when we arrive into our overnight stop, you will be transferred over to your hotel, and your bags are actually waiting for you in your hotel room. You don't have to worry about lugging your bag. You have a little backpack that you bring on the train, but everything else we take care of from start to finish of the trip. And there's no waiting in lines. You see your bags up there and change up, go out for the evening. So culinary is a big experience on board the train, and Rocky Mountaineer loves to just, spoil you with gourmet meals. We try to do and showcase locally sourced, locally inspired dishes, as well as some other treats. But we'll have things like prime Alberta beef or Pacific salmon. We'll have Canadian bacon as well. In our new route, we're going to be featuring some Southwest cuisine because we're going to be operating in the Southwest. You'll learn a little bit more about that. And multi-course meals will be served. So you'll have, 4 courses or 3 courses, and you'll have like 4 or 5 entrees to choose from, depending on which service level. Silverleaf and Gold Leaf are 2 service levels. It is an all dome fleet, so that's very important because, again, these are custom designed for Rocky Mountaineer in order to give you the most luxurious experience, but also magnificent viewing of the scenery outside. So the single level Silverleaf dome car, as you can see here, one of the features is those huge picture windows. Also in the back, you'll notice there's a door with a window that window does open up, so clients can kind of walk down there, get some pictures, get some fresh air. The other feature of these beautiful cars is the high ceiling. So again, you'll notice how bright and cheerful these interiors are. And so one of the things that when you travel, if you've ever been on a motor coach tour or driven in a car to see scenery, I mean, there's nothing like these rail cars for just sitting in comfort.
No, if you can't hear it, you have to watch it.
Well, there was something.
So you can actually see absolutely stunning scenery outside those windows. And again, on a Silverleaf rail car, we have 3 hosts that serve the guest on board. In our new US route, we actually are introducing a brand new service called Silverleaf Plus, which allows clients to upgrade to this extra level where you have some enhanced dining as well as enhanced premium cocktails going to be included. But in addition to that, you'll have access to a lounge car. It's an exclusive lounge car. There'll be a bartender in there. It's another place to mix and mingle with fellow travelers. And that's part of the appeal is when you're traveling on the train, you'll be with other people from all over the world and you get to meet people from all these different walks of life. It's wonderful. Now, our premium level rail car is the bi-level glass dome gold leaf rail car. And these are, we have multiple ones of these. One of the things you'll notice is they are actually up higher than the Silverleaf rail car. And they feature this glass dome top observation area where you seat most of the time. Also, there's a viewing platform in back, but you'll notice it's just fully all glass, all tinted, and actually our brand new gold leaf rail dome cars are actually state of the art, and the tint actually get darker if the sun is glaring down, and you never feel hot in there because it is all all shaded and tempered glass and all that stuff. So the other thing is you'll notice the viewing here. There's super ultra comfortable seats in the gold leaf. There's a separate dining area on the first level, and we do have two seatings. And there you have a leisurely breakfast, a leisurely lunch, enjoy a glass of wine or beer with your meal or a cocktail. We just want you to have a great experience. The food is freshly prepared on board the rail car as well. And outdoor viewing platform, this is our vestibule that will hold up to like 12 to 16 people easily at a given time. And it's a great place to stretch your legs, again, get fresh air and smell the evergreens as you're traveling through the countryside. So again, my big pluses of the gold leaf is just that extra ambiance there. So here, the first passage to the west is our original route. And the one thing I want to point out here, this is a 2-day train route. Our overnight is in Kamloops. Our trains go eastbound and they go westbound. So you can choose whatever direction you want to go in. So if you're heading from Vancouver, you're going to end in Banff. So you'll overnight in Kamloops. So that's the first day. Then you'll go from Kamloops to Lake Louise and Banff, and that's your second day. Or you do vice versa. So this is a 2-day train route. And you're on the train anywhere from 8 to 10 hours per day, but being wined and dined, and believe me, the time passes by fast. So that's First Passage West. It's a historic route, goes straight in the heart of the Rockies. And then another one that's very similar, but it breaks off in Kamloops and heads north, is the Journey Through the Clouds. This goes from Vancouver up to Jasper National Park with an overnight in Kamloops. What I love about this one is if you want to see Jasper National Park, this is a route you want to consider, or one of the routes you want to consider, because it gives you a chance to see Jasper. Jasper National Park is the largest national park in Canada, and then lots of wildlife up there. And then you can work your way down to Banff and Lake Louise. So that's an option for you if you want to really take it all in the Canadian Rockies. And our third train route is Rainforest to Gold Rush. This one actually goes from Vancouver, heads north to Whistler. That's called the Sea to Sky Climb route. And that's a short route between Vancouver and Whistler. It's about 3 hours. You arrive at noon. You have the whole afternoon to experience and visit in Whistler, do some hiking or whatever you like to do. Go out in one of the many cafes. And then the next day you board the train, head up to Quesnel. You overnight in Quesnel. It's a full day on the train, and then overnight in Quesnel, and then you're into Jasper. So that's 3 days, 2 nights on board the train. So it gives you a chance to actually see Whistler as well as Jasper National Park. It's a very popular itinerary of ours. And of course, we have some of the best destinations on earth to visit. Like Vancouver, which is our hometown, so we're a little biased, was voted the 3rd most livable city in the world. And it is a stunning place, lots of outdoor activities, a lot of great walking trails or cycling trails if you're into that, excellent dining. So I always recommend spend a couple nights in Vancouver at minimum. Then Jasper, as I mentioned, is the largest national park in Canada. That's a picture of Spirit Island, one of the most photographed places. But there's also like 587 species of wildlife in Jasper in Canada. So like grizzly bears, we have the nicest grizzly bears in the whole world up in Canada. We also have cute little foxes and rams, but one of the most rarest creatures is this guy here, Sasquatch. So you might be lucky enough to see him. In Banff, Banff National Park is the oldest national park in Canada. But one of the great things about this, if you've been to a US national park, which I love them as well, one of the things that was always lacking in most of these national parks is dining and cuisine. Banff not only has great national park and sites and things to do and activities, but they also have excellent cuisine. So lots of choices. This is the main street in Banff, tons of restaurants, really good hotels. And so you can be pampered, eat very well, and do your hiking and all your outdoor activities. And Banff is also known for hot springs. It was originally, there's several hot springs that you can go to right in Banff. So if you want to, go check it out. Lake Louise, world-class spot. It's probably one of the most picturesque places on earth. Lake Louise, that's a picture of Victoria Glacier across from the lake. You could take a little canoe out there. Absolutely unbelievable scenery that you'll see. You can do some hiking around there as well. Stay at one of the famous hotels, which I'll show you in a second. And here's a picture of Moraine Lake. So just to give you an idea that's unique about the Canadian Rockies is these beautiful, stunning, turquoise colored lakes. And with the Rocky Mountains there, it just makes it just stand out and really excel in beauty. So that's really the appeal. You go to the beautiful Canadian Rockies, you travel by a luxurious train, and then you see the most magnificent scenery in the world. And then Calgary is one of the airports you would fly into is Calgary, or you'd fly into Vancouver, unless you're doing a round trip train. So you can do a round trip train journey out of Vancouver. Otherwise, you'd either fly into Calgary or out of Vancouver in order to see that. And Calgary is sort of like the Dallas of the North. It's known for its cowboy culture. And you may have heard of the greatest outdoor show on earth, the Stampede, that happens every July, although not last July, or I don't think it's happening this July either. I mentioned some of the iconic hotels in the Rocky Mountaineer program, such as the Fairmont Banff Springs Resort, just a stunning historic hotel, 125 years old, totally refurbished, operated by Fairmont. It's one of those pinnacle properties to stay in as well. And if you like the golf, they have a great golf course. And of course, Chateau Lake Louise, situated right on Lake Louise. So stunning hotels, must-dos, a lot of bucket lists for a lot of people. And then when you go on a Rocky Mountaineer, everything's customized. You'll work with your Roseborough travel agent in order to customize the perfect itinerary for you and design and add in the right excursions that you want to do. Many of our packages have already included a lot of sightseeing, but you may want to substitute or add in some more adventurous stuff. So definitely talk to and work with your advisor in order to put together the perfect program for you. Now, the brand new route that I'm very excited to talk about, and this launches in, oh gosh, August 15th. So we're coming up on, gosh, 60 days or so. This brand new US route, it's been in the works for many years, and we finally launched it in the year of a pandemic. How you like that? So Rockies to the Red Rocks is our brand new route. This route is going to be a 2-day train route that goes between Denver, Colorado, and Moab, Utah. And I really, a lot of clients and people have not really experienced this area. And I'm amazed that when I see all the photos and what you can do around here, it's such a wonderful destination. First of all, Denver, Colorado is the 19th largest city in the US. It's considered an urban adventure. Of course, you know it as a mile-high city, but it's urban adventure. It's known for being one of the most walkable cities in the US. I think it's the 4th most walkable city, and everything. So right there in that downtown area where your hotels would be situated, you have the 16th Street Mall, which is an open pedestrian walking area, lots of restaurants. They do free shuttles as well throughout the downtown area. This map here kind of shows you, the circle is where 3 hotels that we feature in our program, the Crawford, Oxford, and Maven are located. And you'll also notice the Denver Union Station, which is if you're flying into Denver, there's a light rail that takes you right from the airport into Union Station. So basically you can, one of the hotels is located right there in Union Station, the other one just a block away. So very convenient to get to, or we can provide transfers to get you right to these hotels. Either way. The other great thing is you have all the sporting events that Denver hosts, in addition to art. They have the Denver Art Museum. This has 70,000 artifacts. So if you're into, like, you know, the art museums, a phenomenal art museum. They also have the second largest performing arts center west of Chicago. So that's another thing you might want to take in. So spend a little extra time in Denver. Maybe you go and visit some of the local areas. Also, Denver's known for beer. It is like the Napa Valley of craft beer. There's like over 200 different craft beers brewed in Denver, and you can do a beer crawl. Make sure you don't overdrink. You want to enjoy your time on the train. And something else I always recommend. So like I love to explore downtown areas and learn about the different history of an area, but I recommend you go visit this store. It's called the Rockmount Ranchwear. Now you'll notice those that shirt there, designer shirt with the snap buttons. They invented the snap button. It's been around for 70 years. The family still runs and operates the place. It became famous when a lot of stars started wearing their stuff on film, and it became super popular. Or, you know, people like Sir Paul McCartney, Cary Grant, Ronald Reagan, Kevin Costner. That's Paul Newman, and there's Tom Brady. Actually was behind Elvis. Elvis was the one who first got them to be famous because he wore one of the Rockmount shirts in a movie, and then it's taken off. Almost every like famous rock star, Bruce Springsteen, Mick Jagger, you name it, they all have Rockmount wear. So you get your cowboy hat, your boots, and you get your ranch wear as well. So let's see here. Also, while you're in Denver, if you have extra time, and I recommend this, if you've never been to the Red Rock Amphitheater, well, they have shows about 5 days a week. And this beautiful amphitheater is just outside of Denver, about 20-25 minutes. It opened in 1941, seats almost just under 10,000 people. Elevation 6,400 feet, but there you go on their website, you'll see all these shows. So if you fly in a few days earlier before your train departure, you can go to one of these shows. If it works out for you, definitely recommend it. Also, if you're going to spend a little extra time in Denver, maybe you'll take a day trip to Rocky Mountain National Park. Rocky Mountain National Park is only an hour and a half from Denver, so you could rent a car for the day, which is pretty cheap. And you can just drive up to Rocky Mountain National Park and just relax, enjoy the beautiful scenery, do some hiking, maybe swim in a lake. It's third most visited U.S. national park, 44.7 million visitors a year. And then also I mentioned Union Station. Here's a picture of Union Station. That's a beautiful, totally redesigned train station where the Crawford Hotel is. That's one of the hotels that we feature in our program. And so this is a place to visit. These are the three hotels. You kind of get a feel for it. The Maven Hotel is more chic, like locally owned hotel. Crawford is, luxurious in the Union Station. The Oxford Hotel is the most historic hotel in Denver. It's the oldest hotel. So you can see a lot of great stuff to see when you're doing that. When we depart Denver and head to our first stop along the train route, you'll pass a lot of different sites. One of them is Gross Reservoir. You go through about 18 different tunnels and pass through a number of different canyons. You'll get to see some great wildlife while you're traveling. That's Glenwood Springs Canyon before coming into Glenwood Springs. Glenwood Springs is your overnight. Now the train day is about 8 hours. Departing at 9, you arrive around 5, and you'll cross the Continental Divide. When we do that, we'll be doing a champagne toast. We'll be serving canned peas during the day. You'll have meals served on board. As I mentioned, we're going to do a Southwestern sort of flair, but there'll be other choices as well if you don't like southwestern stuff. Glenwood Springs is called the land of water. That's the nickname because there's two rivers that merge here. But also it's became a wellness resort since the late 1800s. When the first train rolled in, it became famous and a lot of people would come here for wellness escapes. Doc Hollywood, a holiday, you probably heard of him. He's a gunfighter. I think he was a dentist too. You can go to the Doc Holliday Tavern, get a drink, or you could do a Doc Holliday tour of his cemetery where he was buried. If you're into that kind of stuff, ghost tours. But also one of the things that Glenwood Springs is famous for is the mineral springs pools. They have the largest mineral springs pools in the world. These two here are, there's one here that we're looking at and one beyond it. They're the largest in the world, and they have 16 mineral springs. Their temperature is 94 to 104 degrees. So depending on when you go, you can just go into these hot springs pools. If you stay at one of the hotels that we have in Glenwood Springs, it's included. If you're not staying there, it's only like $10, and they're open till like 9, 10 o'clock at night. So what I would recommend is after you get off the train, you're probably not ready to eat, go to the hot springs pools. Rumor has it after an hour in these 16 mineral springs pools that people come out 10 years younger. So there's a good one for you. Then as you depart Glenwood Springs, and Glenwood Springs have a lot of great restaurants, you're going to board the train in the morning and you're going to start heading towards Moab. And along the route, you're going to see the Book Cliffs. This is Mount Garfield. Mount Garfield was named after the 20th president, 20th US president, which unfortunately he was assassinated in office and didn't actually serve out his full term, that term anyway. And then you'll pass the La Salle Mountains. And this is where you start to see the color of the stones change to more reddish. And that's where our product gets its name, Rockies to the Red Rocks. You start in the Rockies, then you come into the Red Rocks area of the Utah. And in Moab, Moab is a year-round resort as well. We have 3 hotels that we feature here, at least for this year. Next year, we may expand it because this is our inaugural season. We have the Hoodoo Moab, Curio Collection, Hyatt Place, and the Hilton Homeward Suite, all very nice properties. And we have excellent rates there. Moab is, again, famous for a lot of different things. One of the things that they're famous for is cycling. So I don't know if you're into mountain biking, be careful if you do it, but it is the mountain biking capital of the world. Also, they have a lot of water sports. If you want to do paddle boarding or you want to do, river rafting, you can do that. A lot of great dining options. They have Southwestern food and also jewelry, and if you want to buy some of that. And it also has one of the oldest film commission. I think it might be the oldest film commission in the US that's in Moab. So that's one of the great things if you're into films, and you probably will recognize some of these films. Starting back in the 30s, they had a bunch of movies. John Wayne has done quite a few films in that area. Lots of movie stars come in there and they do filming, not just Westerns, but there are other movies filmed there as well. And as I mentioned, the Southwest art, Southwest, cuisine and jewelry and all sorts of good stuff. So in and around Moab is what we call the Mighty Five, or it's called the Mighty Five National Parks. So one of the great things about going to Moab is you have access to reach to many of these national parks. So we actually build tours and sightseeing excursions to a lot of these national parks, or build them into complete programs. And so Moab, right next to that, you have Arches, you have Canyonlands, Capitol Reef, and you can see the red arrows leading all the way over there. This is a picture of Canyonlands National Park. It's stunning. One of the great things about these national parks in Utah, many of them are considered dark sky preserves. So they're wonderful places for looking at stars at night, but they're also the kind of national parks you want to go to in the morning and in the afternoon and see the sunset versus a sunrise, and just see how the light hits these beautiful national parks. This is Arches National Park, which has over 2,000 sandstone arches, great hiking there. So if you're into outdoor activity like hiking, recommend it. Capitol Reef National Park is not too far, maybe a couple hours outside of Moab. And this one was also has a lot of sweeping vistas and just so like again the red sandstone. One fun fact about this is Robber's Roost is a trail that is a famous hideout spot for bandits way back in the day when there were bandits running around. And two very famous ones you may know is Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid would come here frequently and hide out so they wouldn't get arrested. They had bounties on them of $5,000. That's probably a lot of money for those days. And then Bryce Canyon National Park, which if you look at this, you see all those hoodoos. That's what those spires look like or called. And there's more of these hoodoos out there, and there's like legends. And our guides, when you do the tours that include these national parks, will tell you all about the history, geography, and geology of the region that you're going to see. But again, you're going to see spectacular lights and national parks. This again is a dark sky preserve, Bryce Canyon, which means it's one of the best places on earth to see stars, stargazing. They even do a festival every June in the national park. Zion National Park, probably one of the more spectacular national parks in Utah, most picturesque one. 5th most visited national park in the US, 4.2 million visitors per year go here. And as you can see, the spectacular beauty. And it's only 2.5 hours outside of Las Vegas. Some of the things that you can do on your honor the Rockies, the Red Rocks, is a jet boat ride on the Colorado River, which is really cool. This is right in Canyonlands National Park. We have some tours that take you to Monument Valley, which is a Navajo Nation, not a national park. Do a Jeep tour of about the culture of the Navajo people, including the weaving and everything about their culture. It's really phenomenal experience. Lake Powell is another area of one on several of our tours that we take in. Lake Powell is a massive lake, in this part of the area, and it's basically huge, 2,000 square feet. So as long as the west coast of the U.S., this park is. Antelope Canyon, you may have seen pictures of this before. Well, this is just outside of Lake Powell. So if you do one of our programs that take in Lake Powell, you can actually go visit Antelope. Grand Canyon, North Rim is another place that we visit on one of our tours. Stargazing, I recommend doing that. In some of our programs, we include a night of stargazing with astronomers. So it's one of the wonderful things. Other places, whether you fly, some of our programs start in Salt Lake City or end in Salt Lake City, some in Vegas and start or end in Vegas. Of course, Denver is going to be a starting ending point as well. So you can choose which of these programs. You can see beautiful Salt Lake or Las Vegas. And these are just an example package. Rockies, the Red Rock Classic, 4 days, 3 nights. This starts at $1,469. It's going to include your 3 nights hotel, the 2 days on the train, all your meals on board the train, your drinks on board the train, the services of the host, baggage handling, transfers between rail and hotel, etc. So it's really a very good price. And then if you decide to add on and go on your own, you could do what you want. But that's give you an idea of a shorter program. You can also do rail only with us with just an overnight in Glenwood Springs. Here's an example of a self-drive out of Salt Lake City. So flying in Salt Lake City, you have 1 night stay there, and then you get the car rental, and then you drive down, maybe go through Sundance, go down to Moab, do some driving around and see the national parks at your leisure. And I don't know if you've been watching the news, but getting rental cars has been such a challenge for a lot of people visiting the national parks. Lots of people are visiting the national parks. Well, our prices are already locked in and set. So some people, you could pay for a 3-day car rental almost $1,000. Well, you're not going to do that with us because it's already built into the pricing. And then also this itinerary, 6-day, 5-night from $23.99 per person. Then here's another example of a little bit more extensive. Get the wrong number of nights there. That's more of a, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 nights, 7 days. And Rocky's the Red Rocks Explorer. This one does do a tour from around MOAB. So where the green dotted line is not by train, that's it's like a guided program where you'll visit the Canyonlands and Bryce Canyon, Zion Canyon, end in Vegas, or start in Vegas. So you have lots of options, and there's 18 different packages to choose from. Now, one of the promotions that we have right now in the market until June 20th. On June 21st, this promotion is going away. But if you want to go on Rocky Mountaineer on this route, and it could even be a 2-day train, you don't have to do the full big experience. You could do 2 days, you could do 3 days, 4 days. We have a number of different packages. You can save $300 per couple if you book this by June 20th, traveling on an eastbound route. So that would be starting, say, in Las Vegas or Salt Lake, ending in Denver, or starting in Moab, ending in Denver. So it's eastbound. Also, we talked about the Canadian Rockies earlier. The other thing that we have is a promotion for 2022 on the Canadian Rockies. This is the best promotion we do all year, and it's you get 2 complimentary hotel nights, 1 complimentary airport transfer, 1 complimentary dinner. This expires August 27th. And if you're worried about putting down a deposit, your deposit is fully refundable up until December 3rd. And also on anything in 2021, the deposit is refundable up until 30 days prior to departure. So if you're booking a Rockies to the Red Rock in, say, October, you have until September where final payments due, but you can cancel and get your money back up until 30 days prior, which is what this says. So again, refundable deposits up until 30 days prior to departure for a 2021 travel. For 2022 travel, the deposit is refundable up until December 3rd, and final payments not due till 60 days prior to travel. Again, the best thing to do, because we do pretty much customize. I mean, we have packages you can choose from, but then if you want to do some customization, it's always best to just, work with your Roseborough travel advisor and just, have them, understand what you're looking for, and they can help you get the best customized journey for your interest. And at this point, there's one of our friendly bears from Canada. We can open up I don't know how you want to do questions, Amanda, whether chats or verbal.
Just
I
a
know I covered
minute.
a lot.
Just a moment. Just a moment. So I will go ahead and ask you some of the questions that have been coming in. The first question, when is Canada opening up?
Okay, well, that is a great question, because who knows? But I will say we've heard a lot of positive talk in the last week. So there's lots of rumors out there, positive rumors. I've heard one statement where it may start out open for vaccinated travelers first, and Canadians, but we're getting the sense that August is a very possible date when it'll open. So that's what we're hearing. We're hearing within the next week or so, we're going to have an actual statement from the Canadian government, because it's kind of them that's holding us back, because Americans are ready to go. Canadians are nervous about people coming into the country, but they do want to open up, and we definitely want to welcome people to Canada. So my guess is August. So if you're looking to book something, don't book anything for July yet until there's an announcement. But August, and when it does open, I would say jump at it. If you're looking to travel this year, great time to go is this year too. I mean, next year is going to be great as well, but this year you're going to beat the crowds, right? So August, September, we operate August, September, and early October.
And personally speaking, I can tell you from our office, we would rather you plan. So say you can't, no, none of us have that beautiful crystal ball that tells us when the countries are opening. If we did, we would be doing so good right now. But I think the big deal is if we're anticipating, ask your travel advisor. What we do is we work with the companies like Rocky Mountaineer, and we work with the tourism boards, and we work with each individual kind of element to make sure that your trip is planned perfectly for you. So if we're worried that, ooh, you have a trip that's booked in July or you want to go in July, we'll give you the pros and cons of planning a trip for July. And we might suggest to you, we're hearing that August is when they're going to reopen. For safety's sake, maybe go the first week in September or something like that, or go it towards the end of August. That way we're really comfortable and confident in what we're putting you on. But then knowing the other side of things, if the trip does get suspended, what happens in that scenario, right?
That's
So
a great
we would,
suggestion.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Paul?
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, I 100% agree. And the other thing is, it is refundable deposits for this year, so that's important. And you'll know whether a trip is suspended or not before final payments due.
Exactly. And that's perfect, because you're not in for the full final payment, and you're not already, maybe you will have booked airfare at that point in time, but your travel advisors at Roseborough will kind of guide you along and make sure that we're good the whole way through, knowing, okay, it's a guaranteed departure. This is what we're doing. This is the process and how to get there. And we always, right now, as a team, are recommending, we're anticipating opening up in, say, August. So we recommend going in September, just right afterwards. We don't recommend waiting. Do not wait, please. Whatever you do, don't wait until they actually open up to book it, because that's when everybody else is doing it. So you're going to get the best promos, deals, and availability booking it now rather than waiting until they open. It's just
And another thing,
my opinion.
Yes. No, I fully echo that, because the other thing is, if you do book now for, say, August, and for some reason that departure in August isn't available to operate, we're going to offer you either your money back, or you can do a take that and roll it to a 2022 departure or later in the year, and we're going to price protect you. So it's actually a good way of a little gambling. If you're planning on going, you'd love to go this year, but if you didn't go this year, but you wanted to go next year and grab space early, that's the advantage. We're going to price protect your trip in 2022 if that happens.
Absolutely. And I think that the trips that you've put out this year, especially, I mean, Rocky Mountaineer's always been an incredible journey for people to take. It's an incredible tour company, rail company, but to know that we can do the Utah national parks, that we can go to Colorado, that we can do all of our own backyard. Your trips are amazing. They're everything that our clients are asking for right now. I've had 3 or 4 requests just in the last 2 days for people to go to Utah. And this is what I'm giving them. The trips that you have out are so incredible. So definitely, and so much better, in my opinion, than a full self drive, that you can actually have both travelers sit back, relax, and enjoy the view, instead of one, white knuckle driving through the national parks where they don't know the lay of the land, and the other one looking and seeing what is so incredible to see. Believe me, you don't want to drive through all of those national parks on your own. You want to have the rail journey that's going to bring you to them and have you well rested once you get there and get to go out and on your excursions and your days on your own. So I love what you've done with the US. So good job. I know it's all you who's done it, right, Paul?
Thank you. And yeah, for sure. But I will say, though, I love experiences, but going this year on the Rockies, the Red Rock, our inaugural season, is always something you can brag about later, right? Oh, I was on their first departure. And I might have mentioned this to you, Amanda, like we originally were going to go big time promoting this program. Of course, with the pandemic, companies like ours and a lot of companies, everything was not operating a year and a half or so. wipes out your marketing budget. But the great thing is with inaugural season, you get to brag you did the inaugural season. And what I also think is amazing, 50% of the people booked on this Rockies to the Red Rock are past Rocky Mountaineer guests that were just couldn't wait for Rocky Mountaineer to have a new route to go on. And so, and that's without advertising. It actually happened. It was really you at Roseborough and other agencies saying to clients, hey, you know, I know you love Rocky Mountaineer Experience. They got a new route. Word of mouth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, if there's no other questions from our explorers, Paul, thank you so much for joining us. And you gave the show offer. It was $300 off until June 20th. Is that correct?
Yes. And then, yes, until June 20th, unless they do the Canada, and that one's good till August 27th. And that's like a 4-perk promotion.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today. And would you have anything else that you want to tell our explorers before we get off of this call?
I would say see the beautiful outdoors. I mean, yes, the terrain you're going to love. Absolutely, you're going to love it, but you're getting to experience the national parks, whether it's in Canada or the US. You will love it. I mean, you will fall in love with America and Canada and the outdoors and wildlife. It's wonderful.
It is. I agree. I agree. Well, explorers, thank you all so much for joining us today. If you have any other questions, please feel free to contact our team at Roseborough Travel Agency. We're located right downtown DeLand, but you can get a hold of us via email, phone call, or coming on in. Our number at the office is 386-734-7245. I posted it into the link, but if you are on this call, I'm sure that you got an email from us. So thank you so much, Paul, for joining us today. Thank you, explorers, for being here. And we look forward to helping you plan your next Rocky Mountaineer journey. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you.